I want to give a big shout out to Oh Snap by Shell Studios. Thank you for letting me utilize the space. It's a wonderful space. If you're interested in utilizing her space, please look at the link below. Additionally, I want to give a shout out to my affiliate sponsor, My Inner Horse. Shout out them for sponsoring this actual episode. Peace. All right. So welcome back to another episode of the What's Your Motive podcast. Today, my top tier guest here today is, I know him as Ron J. Y'all might know him as Ronnie Jones. Some of you may know him as Ron J as well. But he's an educator, former collegiate athlete, from Las Vegas. I don't know how he got here, but we'll talk about that as well. He appeared in the tournament in 2003.
Yes.
We'll get into those things, but I'm so happy and esteemed to have my guest here because when I was a young pup, he was one of my mentors. So shout out to my man and welcome to my man, Ronnie Jones, Ron J.
Man, appreciate you having me, man.
Appreciate you coming through, man. I really, really appreciate you coming through, man. And I know we've been having conversations about this too anyway and getting on here. So how you feeling today?
Man, I feel blessed, man. I'm happy where I am as a man. Looking forward to the future that's coming towards my life and just, enjoying life, man. I'm a very happy person, and it feels good to me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And what's crazy is, Ronnie, I could see it in your face. Like when we just embraced, like I haven't seen you in so long, but I felt it instantly, man. And it is great to see because, man, I think when we met, I was fresh out of high school. I was 18. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely gravitated to you and things like that. So it's just great to see that you're still doing great things and you're feeling so good about yourself, you know?
In the basketball community, you always meet certain people, but I have met and been fortunate to meet so many people from Milwaukee, and you're one of those people that, man, you just a bright, like you just a light once you come into the room, bro. Not all of us appreciate that, so that's why we always gravitate to each other. But some of the fact that we was gonna go at each other on the court, but but some of the fact just your personality, who you are, we definitely match on that point.
No, I appreciate that, man. And it's not too many people that I actually can say that was like truly like mentors or people that actually like I call or reach out to and take advice from.
Yeah.
But you and LeVar, like from UW-M, y'all was it.
Dope,
like, you know what I mean? From intramurals to everything. So, but we'll talk about that. So just for starters, tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background. Like I mentioned, you from Las Vegas and things like that, your upbringing and things like that.
Yeah, you don't hear a lot of people say born and raised from Las Vegas. And I'm one of those people. Come from a family of three.
Okay.
My father was my first superhero. My mom's my angel. So I got two older sisters that I look up to.
Okay.
They helped guide me. But yeah, man, coming out of Vegas, at that time you didn't have like a lot of AAU. We weren't getting a lot of shine for knowing for basketball players. We were more baseball and football, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And my senior year, man, I just shined, man. I shot the ball very well out for score. I was small. I wasn't super athletic. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the tallest, but I just loved the game. And I really just tried my best to go out there and just represent for my family every time I did. So I got a chance to come to UW-M. Got recruited by the head coach at the time, Rick Cobb. Rick Cobb played for Al McGuire when they won the NIT back in the day, and it was big.
Okay.
And his coach was Coach Earlywine. Who, man, they came out to Vegas like 4 or 5 times. Come see your boy.
Really?
Came to my house 3 times. So.
How did that feel? Like, first of all, what high school did you go to?
So I went to Las Vegas High School.
Las Vegas
High School and Rancho High School are the 2 oldest high schools in Las Vegas.
Okay.
If at the time, I wasn't getting highly recruited. Like,
okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had plain junior colleges and like, some D2s and NIAs or whatever, NAIs or whatever. But when they started to come in, man, they came hard. And they saw me. They didn't care my size. They didn't care none of that. They was like, no, we need you on our team.
And they came not only to your games, but they came into your living room.
Man, came into my living room, sat with my mother and my father. You know what I'm saying? Twice.
As a kid, you know, and I know a lot of kids, like, it's a little bit different now. Like, the recruitment is crazy. But as a kid, like, what was going through your mind when you had these men coming in here and talking to you about?
It was, for me, like, going to my sophomore, junior year, I told myself, I'm going Division I, nothing else. And at that time, it didn't matter where I'm going D1. I think I'm that good. Like,
you was motivated. You was locked in.
Man, locked in, right? So when I won getting a lot of high D1s, you know, as a kid, you got the North Carolina, the Dukes, you know what I mean, UCLA's, and then my hometown, UNLV, who have professional teams. All we had was the Shark Attack, the Running Rebs. So you want to play for them, and they didn't offer me. They gave me an option of like 2 years walk on, 2 years scholarship. You know, we didn't come from a financial background to be able to do that.
Right.
So when they came in my living room, man, I felt like Michigan. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? I felt like it was a big time for me.
Man, that sound like big time. That sound like, you know what I mean? Somebody come up to you, that's like, I'm the man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you know what's crazy? What was really crazy, I don't tell the story a lot. My high school wasn't really set up to send people to Division I. My high school, I mean, this is back in the day. It's like 90s, you know what I'm saying? 98. I don't want to put my age out there. But my high school didn't really set you up to prepare you for college, right?
Okay.
My senior year was even crazy. I was first team all state, first team all city, all that stuff, right? I was the only player my senior year to go Division I.
The only player?
The only player.
Like in the state?
In the whole city.
In the city, I'm sorry.
To go Division I. Because everybody else didn't have the grades, they didn't take the classes to get there, this and that and the third. And I was an English credit kind of like, I didn't take the right English class, but we had to fight the clearinghouse and all that stuff, but they ended up passing. So after that, my high school set everybody up for success because of just me being able to have that determination to get to where I wanted to be.
So you saying your high school wasn't preparing kids in terms of like academic success?
Yes, academically to get to. So once that happened, after that, you know, it's all gravy, you know what I'm saying? Somebody had to go through it to get there, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I was the only one to go D1. And it was UW-M when I was telling people, man, yeah, I'm going to, we never, like, when I first got here, I never called it UW-M. He was always said, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So at the time, the only thing people knew was Green Bay Packers. So it's like, oh, you going to Green Bay? I'm like, no, man, I'm in Milwaukee. And then you say Wisconsin, they like, oh, so you going up there with nothing but white people.
In Madison.
Like, yes. And I'm like, no, I'm in Milwaukee. Like, and once they come to visit, they said, but yeah, man, came from the only person that year to go Division I.
That's crazy. So you was actually a trailblazer in all of it, in terms of you going D1 from there, being the only one, but then also, I mean, let's be honest, like basically what you just saying, like you kind of helped change some of the academics things too, right?
Yeah, and I had a great freshman coach, right? Not to take nothing away from my varsity coach.
Right.
He was a good dude. But my freshman coach, man, he really poured into us and he really set us apart to give us success. Man, I'm talking about the corniest white dude you ever met too, man. Like a math genius, you know what I'm saying? We some guys coming from the hood. But he took a liking to me and my friends to the point where he even gave my dad an assistant job.
For real?
You know what I mean? Because he knew my dad influenced so much because he coached us over years growing up. But man, Coach Bescal, he really helped transition me to even think about going Division I.
And that's crazy because we can tie that into so much stuff. And I'm definitely going to bring that back up later because we definitely, I mean, you just explained how important it is to have those influential people in your life, especially early on.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and, you know, we know you in education and stuff like that. But before we get to that, so you get to UW-M, you play in the UW-M. 2003, you make the appearance
for the first time. Yes.
What was that like?
Whoa.
What was that like? That's 03?
03. Listen. So to come from a team that never had success, you
talk
know
about
what I'm saying? Like when I first of all, I didn't ask how many games they won or lost before I even came to the school. To come when I get there to find out we only won 5 games. At the previous year, we won like 5 games. I like going to like Lincoln Park and like going to these different places in McGov and whatnot, man. People looked at us like, oh, you play for UW? You kind of like wasting taxpayers' dollar money. Like you're a waste. And then, you know, we have to prove ourselves and whatnot, but being able to be a part of that team to first do it, man, the way the city, the school, you know what I'm saying, embraced, you know what I mean, just the fact that they were just so happy for us. Like
a lot of press. It was a lot of press for that, man.
Like people just looked at you different. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And to be the first, like not to take anything away from the NCAA, the 16 team,
right,
or any other tournament team, but be the first, it sets everybody else to be able to understand that you can even make it to this level. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I did it with some guys, man, that I'm still close to this day. I mean, one of the best to ever do it, Clay Tucker, Dylan
Clay
Page,
Tucker,
Jason Frederick, you know what I'm saying? Dan Weiss, Jose Winston.
Jose.
You know what I mean? To do it with those guys, Rob Sanders, you know.
Big Rob.
Those guys, man, it just Big Nate Milky from out of Iowa. So we was close. We all been through several coaching changes because I played for, like I said, got recruited by Rick Cobb, Bo Ryan for 2 years.
Bo Ryan.
And then played for Bruce Pearl. You talking about 3 different personalities, 3 different coaching styles. And for us to stick with that and stick through it, man, it was to get that, what we got in the end, to be able to, even though we lost that first game at the buzzer, but still, man, it was well worth it.
And then with just like the transition, like you said, with all 3 different people, 3 different personalities, and then at the end of the day, you still a young man. And you got to adapt to this person and that person, go to class and all that. You know what I'm saying? Party a little bit. You know what I'm saying? In the gym, you know what I mean? Living life. So that's a lot. So when you were at UW-M, did you always know that you wanted to go for like education, or what did you go to school for?
Listen, man, I literally went to school knowing that I just wanted to go to school. I had no idea, because I was also the first one in my family to even go to college. And now I'm also thousands of miles away from them, you know what I'm saying? Man. So I had to, man, God's been fortunate to put some really good people in my life, man. My teammates and my coaches, you know what I'm saying? But it was people like LeVar.
That's what I'm saying. How did you meet VAR?
So VAR was an intern, and VAR was young. So when Bruce Pearl came on, when Bo Ryan came on, so LeVar was interning, I think, like tickets or something like that.
Yeah, in that office.
Then a guy who was the head of tickets, he made a mistake, and VAR just happened to be next in line. So when he got the opportunity to step up, he stepped all the way up.
He went crazy.
And he poured into us. Like VAR was a big reason for a lot of our confidence.
Shout out LeVar, man.
Yeah, straight up, man. My big bro. I still call LeVar to this day for a lot of my big decisions, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or when I'm going through something like really, really, like I'm trying to like internalize and get to, VAR always been there for me. But he was there for us as kids. Like VAR was, I don't want to say like your number one hype man, but VAR, like he was like, oh no, we UW, like no, we Milwaukee. He made sure like we represented, you know what I mean? So I remember
that when I came on there, like LeVar didn't play about UW. No, he didn't play about y'all. He definitely didn't play about you.
Bro, I'm telling you, like we was even in my coaching, when I was coaching now, like VAR was made sure we put like, because he was on for Milwaukee. He represent, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he wanted us to understand, like, you putting on for something bigger. Like, so, you know what I mean? Just shout out VAR, man.
Shout out VAR, man. That's crazy, man. He's still super influential. Right now, you know, we still play on Sundays.
Yeah.
So, and he, you know, he owned me. I'm hurt. Limp and tired. Go get the ball. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But he was actually last Sunday he was on fire. So you know, shout out VAR.
Hey, I still love the simple fact when VAR catch fire, it's flame on too, and he's not missing from nowhere. It can't outrun nobody, ain't gonna outjump nobody, but he would definitely, when he hot, it's on fire.
Because I mean, I know we're going back, but think about it. How many intramural championships did we win?
Man, we won.
And this one was with Ralph.
Yeah.
Remember Ralphie? Yeah. Man, shout out Ralphie. I ain't talked to Ralphie in a little while. But.
Yeah, but no, those was just fun, man. Those was just, you know, at that time for me, you know what the biggest thing I had to first realize, to stop being so competitive and just.
You was competitive, bro. Even in just the regular clocky, like when I first started meeting, you was playing me hard.
Yeah, because I remember like, guys, you want that respect always. And then I had to like chill out, because sometimes, man, I'll leave the gym mad, or we'll lose a game in the race. I won't talk to guys for like 2 or 3 days, bro, because I'm mad.
I remember this. Rajay. That's what I'm saying. And I'm young, so I'm out here like, you know, y'all like, hold him, do this, and I'm trying to do everything to the T, but
but man, those was good times, man. They were just fun. And to go around, I mean, it's just a t-shirt, but I know it meant a lot.
Back then, intramurals meant something, bro.
Oh, for sure. I don't know what it is now, but I knew we was competing with some guys, and competing with some guys that can really play too.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And some of them was former players sometimes
former
too.
players, or you got guys who was former high school, all this or all that, you know what I'm saying? So they still had it. And you know, some guys that, what we all notice as you get older, your shape ain't what it is. So guys that's in better shape, they could go at you a little bit more because they got that shape and you don't have it. But man, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. For sure. But back to what we said about UW-M, you said you knew that you wanted to go to school.
Yeah.
You was the first person from your family to actually go to college, and thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is far.
Yeah.
Did you ever, okay, before I talk about that, did you ever think about the weather when you were thinking about coming from hot Vegas to cold Milwaukee?
All I had was a dream to play Division I. All I had was a dream to play in the NCAA tournament. That's what was my dream, right? Because coming from Vegas again, our professional sport was boxing, Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? That was our big thing. And then the other big thing was to run the Rebs.
Yeah.
So like Larry Johnson, Greg Anthony, Anderson Hunt, those guys, when they had Stacey Augmon, you know what I mean? They had their run. That was our NBA championship.
That was everything.
That was everything, you know what I mean? So, and the simple fact that Greg Anthony from Las Vegas, he played the same community center I played at, go to the same barbershop I get my haircut at, I could touch him. You know what I'm saying?
For real?
So that made me feel like, oh, I could be that. So getting to the NCAA tournament was my only thing. So you tell me I got to take 12 credits a semester? Okay, I'm going to take these 12 credits. I'm not really worried about my future at the time. I'm just worried about when I get my chance to shine, I'm going to get on there and do my thing. You know what I mean? So I first went into like, maybe finance.
Okay.
I switched my major like 3-4 times. And I
Same
ended up with like a business degree.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Because that's what everybody was telling me.
What? Wasn't it though?
Get in business.
That was like one of the main degrees they pushed. And that's crazy to hear that, you know, back in the 90s and early 2000s, that's exactly what they still was pushing. Because even when I graduated, they were still like, yeah, go for business administration. And they were like, you could use it. And it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what you thought, but I don't use it at all. I mean, what I learned in college has nothing to do with what I learned in the class.
It's funny you say that because I think a lot of people were in that boat. I went for healthcare. Okay. I worked in healthcare for a minute.
So I started in healthcare and then I changed it. And a reason I changed it though, it's a funny thing. Like, you know what I mean? Your ego at that time, you know what I'm saying? They was like, man, that's a girl thing.
The healthcare? But do you remember Renze? Renze was a nurse.
I know.
But Renze was...
But you know, so I switched it because of that. Somebody made fun of me and I switched it.
That's crazy. Hey, but look though, that's how it used to be. Like the healthcare stuff was supposed to be for the women. That's what they portrayed, right?
And business supposed to be a man.
Man, suit and tie. I'm handling business. Man, come on, man. That's crazy. So you went for business and things like that. So how did you end up? Because right now you were the director of operations.
I'm the director of operations now. I was a dean of student. I started off as the head of physical education.
Yep, I seen that.
You know, helped change that at Greater Holy Temple Christian Academy, what I've been for like going on like 13 years now, I believe. Started off there, man, then became a dean of students. And when I became a dean of students, what really helped me to start off right, you know what I'm saying, after gym teacher, you know what I mean, I was able to reel in a lot of the behavioral kids. You know what I mean? Of course, everybody loves gym. Everybody gonna love the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna have fun. But after a while, people started to use me to actually help discipline some of the kids. You know what I mean? And then what really changed was, man, when I started just on my own, mentoring some of the kids, bringing the kids in earlier, bringing the kids once a week, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's motivational as like words or whether it's helping them like jump shot or just with the girls, like just talking to them about, you know what I mean? Because they didn't have fathers in their life. But when I started to do that, that's when it really elevated. So when I transitioned right away to being a dean, which at our school was the first time I was really having a dean of students.
And what year was that? What year did you become?
Man, that was probably 2018.
18,
yeah,
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it was just a quick transition. So the kids had already knew who I was because as the gym teacher at the time, you get to teach the entire school.
Right.
I had did that for 4 or 5 years. So I had the relationship with the parents and the other teachers. But now you have to like, discipline or whatnot, or be able to handle the behaviors, building relationships, which goes back to, I didn't necessarily learn educationally a lot in college, but I learned how to build relationships, man. And building relationships that's just who I kind of am. I mean, us talking about who we are.
For sure, it's easy.
And it's being able to treat people the way you want to be treated, which is like they said, a golden rule. But I learned something different, well, like the platinum rule, which I just learned that recently, the terminology for it from a PD we just did last year. But I've always treated people that way, is not treat people the way you want to treat them, but treat people the way they want to be treated.
Right?
Because what I want and what I need is very different from what you want.
You know why I like that you said that? Because we grew up with all these cliches, right?
Yeah.
We grew up with all these cliches, these old adages, and when we get older, we recognize like, that was probably good, for that time. But now that I realize and now to put it in perspective, and I done deal with these kids, I done deal with these adults, they don't want it the same way I want it.
No.
Every kid don't want to shake your hand and just look in your eyes. Somebody's like, what's up, man? How you doing? Hit them in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you said that, because I kind of want people to kind of like think about, and I'm glad we here be able to talk about education, because we've been so used to what everybody has kind of like told us, the conventional way of how to deal with kids, how to teach kids. They be like, no, you actually got to get in there with them and talk to them and see kind of like, how should I interact with this child? How should I interact with my teachers, especially when you being an administrator? So before I ask the next question, how did you even get into education? Like what happened? Like, because like you said, you went for business, but you ended up
went for business, you know what I mean? And as a hooper, I knew lead NBA, I wasn't enough.
Okay.
And I was completely okay with that, because you didn't start with my dream was just to play in the NCAA tournament.
Got you.
And I got a chance to show out. You know what I'm saying? Got a chance to be on
the big stage.
CBS, 30,000 people, you know what I mean? And playing against the top tier guys at the time. I think Chris Thomas was the point guard, so you know what I mean, me and him go back and forth.
Got you.
You know what I mean? He's a guy that got a chance to play in the league. Chris Quinn was on that team.
Chris Quinn,
played in the league. You know
I seen you shooting a jumper over when I posted.
So I'm playing against these guys, so I know I can play against them. But to get back to the question was, man, tried to play overseas, didn't work out. Went back home, didn't know what I really was going to do.
Okay.
Came back to school to try to get in the master program. You know what I mean? And in that time, they said go to coaching. Okay. You know, it's a natural thing, right? You know what I mean?
The natural progression after
a
player.
Natural, because it's the same time frame.
Routine
wise.
You know how to do it.
So I go to Garden City Community College.
Where's this
at?
Garden
City, Kansas.
Kansas.
So it's 4 hours from Denver, 3 hours from Wichita, 6 hours from Kansas City. So it's the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Like, when I say the middle of nowhere, and not to take away from nothing like other people passing what they do.
Right.
But, you know, here you're going to come, you see kids shooting a hoop, you know what I'm saying, in their front yard. Out there, you might see like a fake bull and cats out there trying to lasso the bull. You understand what I'm saying? So
totally different way of life.
Totally different. But we had a head coach at the time was Ryan Swanson, who was the assistant coach to Coach Pearl the 2 years I played for Pearl. So he was the head coach there. You know, he allowed me to come on. We had another assistant, Ryan Hemmenthal. But I got a chance, man, to coach, man, an unbelievable talent in Milwaukee, one of Milwaukee's best, two of them, between Torrey Johnson,
Tojo,
and Avery Smith.
Avery
you know
Smith.
What I'm saying? And we got a chance, man, to win a lot of games. Torrey was all American, man. He was
athlete.
Man, one of the purest athletes I ever met in my life. Avo was a pure bucket.
Just
to this day, one-on-one, he's one of the toughest players you ever could get to a bucket. And however you want it. Left, right, what you want. And it's nothing conventional about his game.
Right,
you know
nothing.
And Tojo, man, Tojo could give you a triple-double, but Tojo could just give you 50. And he's going to shoot like 65% from the field. There's nothing you can do about it.
And could jump out the gym.
Literally jump out the gym. So
shout out Tojo and Avo, man.
So I'm going down there, man, and it humbled me to start off, because, you know, I'm the man. I'm that guy. So now I gotta help guys to control their egos. Help guys to understand like it's bigger than you. And also, as much as I talked about how good AV was, AV came off the bench. So now I gotta help him embrace that role to understand he's still important. You know what I mean? And we had a chance to win the national championship. You know what I'm saying? And we fell short, but that experience with those guys, man, I'm talking about, bro, we driving back from Milwaukee 18 hours. You know what I mean? Back and forth, taking the guys home from like Christmas break and this and that and the third. But think about when you 18, 19, and you have nothing to do. It was the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere.
You know what I'm saying? Football was bigger.
Obviously.
You know what I'm saying? Football was the big, but at the time, the Jayhawk conference was a really big basketball conference. You know what I'm saying? But when the basketball wasn't on, man, it's nothing to do, but at the same time, it's so much trouble to get into. So, you know, helping those guys to embrace, I had to really humble myself to really be there for them in a sense, you know what I'm saying, that big brother role.
Got you.
You know what I mean? A lot of, you know what I mean, guys coming from no father figures, man. And at the time, you know, I wasn't necessarily ready.
Right.
But I was ready enough because as a point guard, being a leader, being that captain, that guys depend on you. So, you know what I mean? And shout out to Coach Swanson, man. He didn't treat me like a player, a former player. He gave me a role. And he threw me out on the fire.
Really?
Like, so you gonna drive 4 hours to go see this guy, and you're gonna drive back on this small budget. Mind you, we in Kansas. I ain't never drove. The furthest I drove is LA to Las Vegas. So that's like 4 hours. You know what I mean? But I know where I'm going. You take one highway.
But now
you get to Kansas, going to all these small schools. You just threw me out there, and I was like, man, like he ain't gonna come with me. Like none of that. Like no.
On your own.
And back then, bro, you know, not to throw my age out there, but wasn't no GPS.
That's what I was about to say. You out here mapping.
You get a good World Atlas the night before. You highlight that thing, bro.
Stopping at gas station, asking like, what direction?
So that really helped me mature. And man, just play calls. Like he asked me real questions. What plays? What you want to run? What type of offense you think you want to run? How defense? Like he's asking me my knowledge of the game
for your input,
and that really helped me. That aged you 3-4 years right away. And when you fail, you do take it hard because that competitive side of you. At the same time, you know, he gave me an opportunity, man, and I'm happy we had success.
And I think sometimes being thrown in the fire like that is an advantage because, like you said, you had to grow up quicker.
Yeah. Sure.
But your input was heard, and you was allowed to like try to figure some of that stuff out. A little foundation here, but you was able to kind of like figure it out. So then, and then just like listening to you, how you said you was there with Tori and Avery and trying to help them embrace different things and overcome certain things and recognize you in the middle of nowhere. That goes back to your ability to, you know, build relationships, but also being able to teach.
Yes.
And then I'm thinking, so like after that, I think you were on the staff with Jeter down at UW-M.
Yeah.
But then after that you got into teaching?
So after that, I had 6 seasons with Jeter, man. Shout out Coach Jeter.
Shout out Jeter. He used to come hoop sometimes too.
Yeah. She still throwing that jump hook from 15, 18 feet, right?
Him and Titus. I remember you remember Titus? Yeah. Was you there that Friday?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Him and Titus got into it, and listen, shout out Rob Jeter and shout out Titus, but boy, them was some strong elbow movement. And they got into it like y'all both doing the same thing. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Y'all both are tremendous hackers.
Yeah, right. They showed the love to each other at the end.
For sure. That was awesome, man. But that was just competitive spirits, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so I got a chance to coach with him, and the reason why I'm bringing up in coaching points too, because you said transition to education. And it wasn't necessarily going to school for education. It was more teaching basketball camps, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff, man, just been thrown into things, man. Like you have to grow up right away. Like coming here without a family, you know what I'm saying?
You was on your own.
Coming here without a culture. But UWM had zero culture. Our basketball team had zero culture. We were known for being knuckleheads, going to jail, fighting, and being, you know, arrogant.
Right.
So now you got to build a culture. You know what I'm saying? So my culture naturally, I grew up like my family, intimate family, we very close, but I also grew up with like 6, 7 best friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My father's a father to a lot of them, my family, and they mothers and same to me.
Got you.
We close to this day, man. You're gonna like, you know what I'm saying, 30 plus years of friendship. So I'm always naturally gonna build that type of culture around.
And try to create that around you.
So I created that at UW-M with Clay and my other, you know what I'm saying, Jose coming in, Chris Hill, you know what I'm saying? We built that type of culture, you know what I'm saying? So the reason that Jeter also brought me in right away, only a few years of coaching experience, was it was C. Hill, Joe Tucker, you know what I'm saying, their senior year, and he wanted to help that transition, that gap between Bruce Pearl, himself, you know what I mean?
Got you.
So when I came in, it was needed too, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a first-year coach, so, you know, he's going to make his mistakes, life's going life, and then you got guys that just coming from a Bruce Pearl to more of a structure, you know what I'm saying? Take your hat off. Yes, sir. Well, BP, what up, BP? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of coaches don't like you calling them nicknames. They'd rather you, at that time, you know what I'm saying?
So
you gotta say,
difference.
So that was Jeter, because he coming from the Bo Ryan tree, and Bo Ryan is strictly business. This is how we're going to handle, this is how we conduct ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So it was that transition. So it did help, man. We had some success. And we was able to, we lost to Florida in the second round, but so doing that, going through it, you know what I'm saying? I was 2 weeks from moving back to Las Vegas.
Okay.
And Ed DeShazier, who is the executive director of our school now, his family started it. You know what I'm saying? He took it over.
The father started it?
His father. Actually, his uncle started it.
His uncle started it.
Then his father took it to build the foundation.
Because it used to be like a church at first.
So it's a church first, then it's a school.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So, and his father was a pastor.
Yep. I remember reading that.
So, man, we was like, so me and him had developed a friendship. We was roommates for a while. You know what I'm saying? I'm the godfather to his son, so that's how we've been through some things together. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So he, man, he was like, man, I don't think you should leave, like, blah, blah, blah. Again, you know, I called VAR. VAR, I'm out of here. He's like, man, you want to stay? So my other mentor, man, has always been a great dude to me. And his family's phenomenal, man. It's David Gruber.
David Gruber.
You know what I'm saying? Man, some of the biggest decisions and some of the biggest moments in my life, man, I called David for.
Really?
And this was one of those moments, like, Dave, man, I think I'm about to move back to Vegas. And what's crazy is I didn't even tell David. David just heard it. And Dave hit my line like, so you moving back to Vegas, huh? And like, David one of those guys that it's never a direct answer. It's just kind of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just speaking wisdom to you. So he said, well, I'm going to tell you this. You know, I'm always here for you. I'm always going to be able to, if you need something, never be afraid to ask. But I'm going to tell you this. He said, what you built here, your resources here, and going back home, yes, I understand family. I get that. But your resources here, you know, you have built some great relationships. And those relationships are going to help you be able to move forward in life and just this and that and the third. And that was my first, like, okay, should I?
There you go. I mean? Got you thinking.
Got me thinking. And then Ed was kind of like, man, you know, we need a position at the school. And at that time, man, I was like, education, NPS, I'm cool. But, you know, we're a private school, you know, church program. So shout
out NPS.
Yeah. So, you know, he said, like, I don't have a problem with anything, just come talk to my dad. You know what I'm saying? And, man, we sat down and we just had a conversation about life, man. And, you know what I mean? At that time, I think that was, like, one of the first people that also, like, asked me about, like, my spiritual and where I'm at. And he was just like, well, this is what I can give you. I was kind of like, all right, you know. Let me think about it. Do I really want to move to the crib, or do I really want to stay?
Right.
And at that time, like, once I move home, I know I'm never coming back. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm never coming back to Milwaukee. Like, I don't did
That's
what
it.
I need.
That would have been it.
That would have been it. So I'm like, you know what? Let's make it happen. So I got into education, right? Man, the first month I was ready to quit every day. What I'm talking about, every day.
It's not for the week, is it?
No, I'm like, every day I was ready to quit. Like, now I'm like mad at Ed, I'm mad at his dad for like, why y'all bring me back? Y'all knew this was like this.
Education is not for the weak.
Yeah, but again, man, fortunate, man, just to be able to be in front of people and be surrounded by people. So met one of my biggest mentors in education named Max Walker. Max Walker was, I believe, one of the first Black African Americans to play at Indiana as a Hoosier. You understand what I'm saying? He won a state championship, played at Lincoln.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He coached at King, I believe. He coached at the high school here. But I'm talking about a pillar in the community. I'm talking about a guy that I look up to, and like that's the way he moved, bro. And that only other man that I remember that is my father. So, you know what I'm saying?
That says a lot.
That says a lot. The way he moved, the way he was with the kids, he's the guy that would pull up to your house, talk to your mom, and let you know, like, no, I'm serious about where I stand. And when I'm done, come see me for a summer job. Like, I'm here, I'm not just here for just 9 to 5. I'm here for a long period of time. And it's the way he treated people, man. And he's just a smooth dude, man. Like we always say, you know what I mean, he's been in education since he was 21. And when I met him, man, he was in his 60s, you know what I'm saying? But you would think my man was 49, 50. The way he moved, he still got a wet jump shot, still like he was just, as an athlete that don't make it to the league, he's everything for an athlete, my former athlete, I wanted to be. The way he moved, the way he was with people. So
that example.
He and that first week, so we worked directly together. He was, you know what I'm saying, we was co-teaching together. Man, that first week I remember, he was like, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't believe nothing but what you see. He said, and what you give, what you gonna get back. And he's like, don't listen, like, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have older people, blah, blah, but the kids are gonna show you, first of all, who you are as a person. They're gonna be direct and honest with you. He said, don't get mad at them.
Nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
Don't take it personal at all.
He said, be honest, be firm, but always be fair. And I just took that to heart, man. And you know what? When I first, moving forward, he had ended up moving and going to a different school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And man, I was heartbroken because I was like, because with him, you know what I'm saying, he mentoring, like, bro, it's cool now. Like, he don't.
It's like your training wheels.
Man, he don't made it fun. He don't made coming to work fun. Like, you know what I mean? And more importantly, he helped me to become a huge Packer fan. Like, bro.
What?
I'm saying he was a Packer fan, but what made me, it's the way he treated people. So he had a group of guys, man, they got together every Sunday for Packer games. And it was just, man.
The camaraderie, the togetherness.
Bro. And you know, that's what I was all about. And he treated me like a son.
That's beautiful, man.
Man, I can remember, like, my grandmother passing at the time we was teaching together. Man, the way he treated me, it was the same way my dad would treat me. So, you know what I mean? It was very, very special. So he helped me a whole lot, though. And like I said, just continue to get blessed to have certain people around you. And he helped me. So when he left, now you're on your own. But he don't taught me so much. I'm good now.
Your bag is, man. I got so much in my bag. Yeah, so, my toolkit is deep.
So one time, man, I was able to operate in a different space, knowing that I have back. And man, to this day, man, I just talked to him last week. He just retiring recently.
Okay.
I'm talking about, man, he in his 70s. But I promise you, every time I see him, he looks younger, bro. He don't look older. He looks younger.
He got that reverse thing going on.
So starting there, and then I think seeing your purpose had nothing to do with what my title was.
Right.
My purpose was the simple fact that, again, I had my family who's very strong, you know what I'm saying, to help me to get to where I am as a person. But then the Coach Bascals, my first coach that I ever had, Melvin Givens, who still to this day, you know, my dad and him went to high school together. I had like 2 or 3 teachers. I had the dean at my high school. They helped me so much to get to college and get through high school. First of all, bro, I'm not going to school for academics. You understand what I'm saying?
It's a true job.
And going, like, they pushed me to believe that it's okay to academically to try.
Right.
Like, it took me, and I'm gonna take it back, well, even further. Like, I had this, she was of Asian descent. Her name was Miss Lou. She was the first person to recognize I couldn't read.
What grade was this?
This was 3rd grade.
Okay.
First person to recognize I couldn't read. All the other teachers just passed me by because I'm a good student.
And that happens.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna give you no problems. I ain't gonna.
You ain't gonna ever have to say nothing to me.
Because I come from a respectful family, you understand what I'm saying? And when I do act up, Pop's coming here, he gonna act a fool on me and my friends, you know what I'm saying? For allowing y'all, you allow them to act like, you know what I'm saying, accountability type stuff. So she was the first one. And then my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Cartier, he started to realize I can memorize things really well. And I learned more about following more than I did, or seeing more than I did, like, you know what I'm saying? So just to start that, like, I'm behind already. So when I got to high school, it was kind of like, but again, man, I went to school with 6 of my best friends, bro. Shout out to my cousins, you know what I'm saying, my partners, bro. Like, they helped me true develop too, and help me get my swag.
Got you. You know what I mean?
Like, they think that everybody knew I could hoop.
Right.
I've been hooping for a long time, but then when you create a swag with
that character, building.
So my friends, and then my sisters always pushing me.
Got you.
Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm the last one.
So you the baby.
The baby and the only boy.
I'm the baby and I'm the boy. Yeah.
So I'm spoiled to death. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? My sisters helped me, man, just kept pushing me. Like, my sister, shout out my older sister, man, she was an academic All-American, you know what I mean?
Really?
She's still one of the smartest people I met. And then my other sister, the toughest person on the planet. Like, to me, like, she tough as nails. Don't play no games, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as a woman, if we in a foxhole together, every day, the biggest, baddest, tough, me and my sister together, because we
all day long.
You know what I mean? So it's still in that in me, but
man, Roger, it just sounds like you had so many, like, influential people that really, like, provided you with not only support but encouragement, and then equip you with different things so you can be like, I'm here with you for this minute. Now you gotta go off and fly. Now you gotta go off and apply these things. And I think that, like, I'm sure you see that in education as being an educator, as being an administrator, just how important that is, especially for young boys and young girls, to be able to, like, facilitate a lot of their growth, instead of, like, telling them exactly what to do, but actually encouraging them and letting them go out there and make those decisions based on the information that you gave. So I think that's real. And then now, as an administrator, not only are you dealing with the students, but you're dealing with the parents. So as you prepare for this upcoming school year that's coming down, like, what is it like for you being, in an administrative role? Like, what is it like supporting the students and the families now? As you, and thinking, taking a step further, like thinking this upcoming school year.
So all the examples that I give, I understand my purpose is to give back the same way it was given to me.
Okay.
Shout out to all the people that helped me to get there. And as we mentioned, as we go through the stories and my journey, I'm just trying to evolve and help people, because I felt if I would have had a young me in my high school and my college life, when I had those questions, to have somebody that been through it, you know what I mean? I think it would have helped me to grow up quicker, you know what I mean? Or to go through some tough times, you know what I mean? So my first and foremost is always thinking about the students. You know what I mean? I feel like, man, I hate missing days of work because I don't want to miss the opportunity of either building a relationship or being there for one of the students. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's how important it is to me.
And they be looking for you.
Oh man! And you better not tell them something you're gonna give and don't give it.
You can't let a kid down. Them kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
straight up.
They looking for you.
Yeah.
You said this yesterday.
Yeah.
But remember when you said?
Yeah. So, and I think going into it, first thing too, man, you got to be at peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to have some type of peace because, again, the students, they coming in with so much baggage. A parent coming in with so much, then you got other educators. Man, it's not easy. So how can you be supportive on all fronts? What can you do to prepare to be able to support the students, support your educators, and then support parents? You know what I'm saying? And in that sense, that's my mentality. So if a parent come in rowdy and upset, I know you're not mad at me. I know you're mad at
Goes back to, I'm not taking it personal.
Don't take it personal. I know you're not mad at me.
Right.
And I'm gonna allow you to
run it off
for about 3 or 4 minutes.
Go ahead, run off.
Say what you gotta say. But now let's get back to how can we help? How can we fix the situation? How can I, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're able to help and give the parent a sense of peace and a sense of this is a great environment, it's gonna help when you have to maybe discipline their child.
Yep.
Or you know what? If I I maybe gotta get this child ride home. Are they ride over Mr. Jones? Oh, I have no worries, no issues.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So being able to be always in a supportive role. Like, it's no different than playing hoop. I wasn't at UW-Milwaukee, again,
right.
You know, I wasn't the biggest, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the best player. At times, I'm gonna be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna close the game. I might have the most points, but I'm always here to support. And I think having that supportive stance also helps you to be able to challenge people when you need to. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna ask one of my educators, I should say one of my educators. I'm never gonna ask an educator or a maintenance guy or the cafeteria person or anybody that's in that school. I'm never gonna ask them to do something I wouldn't do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
and you more so, I'm gonna lead by example. You might even catch me doing this.
Oh,
I might even jump in this classroom and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think one of the greatest things you just said, man, was the fact that like allowing people to run off sometimes and like go crazy, even if it's a kid. I know you done had a kid in your room. I had a kid one time come in my office. I thought she was like having an exorcism. Foam come out her mouth, she yelling and screaming, and I looked at her, I was like, you good now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think those parents really appreciate that. I'm not taking that person. Go ahead and say what you say. Now, I heard all that.
Yeah.
So like, how can I help you in this situation? Or why don't we do this? And you provide those things. And I don't think, like, a lot of people on the outside looking in, not, from education, I don't think they recognize that when you're dealing with a dean, an associate principal, or a teacher, some of the things that they dealing with. And then they think that you get all these breaks off and you should be good. So as I lead into my next question, like you just described how you support the teachers, the students, and the families on top of everybody else in that building. Do you ever get exhausted sometimes?
Man, yes, I do get exhausted. Like you know what I mean? Because I'm going through my own personal things as an educator too.
Right. They forget that you have a personal life outside that building.
Listen, the kids think we sleep, eat there the whole thing. We don't change clothes. We just come ready. And then, other adults forget that you have a life too. And I think like going into this year too is one of the biggest things is also be able to set your boundaries.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I think me personally, again, going into peace, and I think a good thing that that's helped me even evolve peace more is being able to rest spiritually in God's peace.
Gotcha.
That's helping me a lot. Like throughout my life and journey, I always had something I can lean on.
Got you.
A principle.
Yeah.
And that's whether my family values, the basketball values.
Got you.
Now I'm able to lean on a principle that's bigger than me, that's bigger than life. You know what I'm saying? And that I could bro, sometimes I go in there, I'm angry, like mad. First of all, we're not getting paid.
Don't even.
You know what I mean? We don't even want to talk about that. So you never do it for the pay. But sometimes you go in, man, and in my role and what I like and been able to do is, man, sometimes it's not a title on what you're going to do when you get there that day.
You're going to be everything.
I don't clean urinals. I don't pick up dead rodents. I don't have to be in a situation where you have to hire or fire individuals, man. I don't been in a situation where I still have to
security.
You got to be security.
You got to be a teacher.
I don't have a parent come up there, tripping. And you know what I'm saying? As a man, you gotta You know what I mean? You got to stand. You have to be able to, because a lot of these children don't have strong men around them. So you trying to lead by example at all times. But man, sometimes, bro, it
get tough.
It get very tough.
But
I'm able to
reflect,
lead,
recalibrate,
man, and realize. I try to tell the kids this all the time. Your issues are you issues. And not only the kids, but as an adult, the reason your classroom is acting like this because you yelling and screaming all day long.
They feed off of your energy and your vibe when they come into your classroom.
Yes. And then I know you know this because you have that same type of energy I have. They be so upset that you not mad. The same thing they mad at.
Listen, bro, you know how real that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever, and man, I got my last question coming up. Have you ever, and I'm sure you have, had a teacher that was so upset with a student and they bring them to you or they send them down, they send you a text with a whole bunch of like, this person did this, whatever, can you do this or whatever, and you get them down there, it's like, I hear all this, but that's not my approach.
Right.
And then your approach in terms of how you correct them isn't a scare tactic. It's actually like, no, I'm gonna sit down and talk with this kid. I'm gonna make it reasonable for this and age appropriate. You know what I'm saying? And some days you might spaz, but there's a lot of that, like you said. Like a teacher will be like steaming, and if you don't match that energy for that kid, and maybe in front of them or after the fact, then they kind of like salty. But we can't be that way when we're dealing with kids.
I mean, I think in this generation especially, because they don't see so many older people, adults let them down. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that respect, what we meant by respect at the time and what they mean by respect is two different things. So you have to approach them first and foremost like a human being.
Yes.
Like no matter the age, you got to throw all that out the way. You have to approach them as a human being. First of all, are they acting up? They might didn't sleep last night. They might didn't eat, first of all.
Can we consider all the factors, bro?
Or you know what? They might have got cussed up before they got into the building.
In the car, waking up, go brush your teeth, get down here.
Put on the same dirty clothes that you put on yesterday. Yes, like you have to consider all that. So one thing that I try to do is when I do have in time seen a teacher come in that way, I try to separate the situation.
Absolutely.
And it depends on who's more steaming or more hot. I try to like address them first. Or just, man, not even address it. Sometimes
go in that room, go sit over there real quick.
Sit down. I don't even want to ask you what happened. And like, you know how people want to come in and talk to you about they blah, blah, blah. Sit down first.
Come on, man.
Sit down.
I'm doing something. You don't see me trying to eat real quick? And if you don't get no lunch.
No.
So if I'm eating, you know I'm on the computer.
So, just chill first, relax.
Yes, man.
And then try to calm them down. But that also goes back to just the building a relationship. And building a relationship also because if a teacher don't see how hard you go, or a teacher don't see all the work you put in, or a teacher, you didn't build a rapport with them, they know they gonna see your tactic as favoritism, or you're not doing your job. But once they see that no, what you're doing is actually effective.
Exactly.
Then,
they got no choice but to respect it.
They have to respect it. So, I just in those moments, man, I'll take you through a situation one time, man. And this kid was probably like, man, he's probably like second, third grade. You know what I mean? And I can remember like a teacher bring them at the time, I'm not even the dean. I'm the gym teacher. So, but teachers threaten somebody and we're going to take away your gym. And the kids didn't want to do that. No.
Right.
Gym, it's gym cracking, So the teacher bringing them, she upset and mad. And I could see it, so I kind of sort of scone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just kind of
yeah.
But little dog, he first thing he said to me, man, Mr. Jones a ball.
Out gate.
But look, and there's some other kids in line, going to the bathroom. He tapped one of the little homies like, Mr. Jones a ball.
Second grade.
And in that moment, you a man. The first thing you want to do is retire. Boy, who you? So, I kind of let him say what he had to say. He had to go to the bathroom. And that's why he was acting up in the first place, because teaching him to go to the bathroom. Come to find out he on medication and make him go to the bathroom.
Right.
Let him go to the bathroom. We come back. No, we stop. And as a second grader, man, you could have an intelligent conversation with him for a second grader. You know what I mean? And we could talk him up, man, go back and forth. And then we come to find out he on some new medication.
Right.
He going, going through so much at the house.
Yep.
And he come back and he said, Mr. Jones, man, I'm sorry. Man. I apologize.
That's real.
And this is how he said, Mr. Jones, I apologize to you.
Right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones. I'm sorry, man. And he was like, and then us kids, it's funny, man. He said, man, I just ain't take my meds today, Mr. Jones.
Listen, the second graders nowadays are so more advanced. Yeah. It don't make any sense.
It don't make no sense, bro. But it was like, but then I had to go back to that teacher, be like, listen, you I understand why you brought him to me, and I'm glad that you did. I'm glad I had a report with you. I'm glad I had a report with him. But you have to ask him a few questions to see how, like, when he coming in the door, stop him. Ask him what's going on first.
Gotta dig a little deeper.
Because once you realize, like, man, he need to go to the bathroom, or he just need something to eat.
Check on that man.
That's all, bro. That's it. That's all.
Teach them treat them like human beings.
Yes.
You gotta quit acting like these kids are just strictly like subordinates, less than, like they are human beings, bro. And they got feelings and they got stuff going on too. So my final question for you.
Okay.
What's your motive?
Man. My why? I first and foremost, man, think that, God put me in a place to be able to help his creation. And right now, being in Milwaukee for so long, man, the presence of a stand-up individual is needed.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I mean? So as I'm still working on myself, and I'm not perfect by any means, when I come into that place, man, I'm trying to set a pure example. Because again, no one looked at me as to be that one, or, I came from a good family,
right?
But we still had our struggle and this and that and the third. So my why is to help a individual or these students to become the best version of themselves. And whether that is in education, whether that is in their morals, their values, character, integrity, And if I know I'm gonna shoot for 100%, but I know I'm not gonna get 100%.
Yep.
And the ones that I miss, man, I hope they take something. So when I go to school, I know I have to be on point. I can't come to school and you know me from back in the day, bro. Like, I was guy in the streets and doing my thing and blah blah blah. But the kids was the first person that really set me straight to come to a lot of change. Because if I'm not on point, they gonna give me the business.
Yeah, exactly.
But if I am on point, we're gonna have a smooth year. So my motive is definitely, man, is to help the kids to become the best version of themselves. And knowing that, man, the curriculum and different things of the education and points and blah 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 and academic levels, that's not what it might be for some of the young students, man. Sometimes it's just literally either give them a place of comfort, a place of peace, a place of understanding, and that's just my motive, man. And just try to continue to build on that, and also try to build that environment around me to also help my other people in education, my other people that work at the school with me, to also help them understand the importance of being able to be there for the kids,
absolutely,
for the parents,
absolutely,
for each other. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
man, my motive is, man, just to I see the need in Milwaukee. As you've been from here and knowing what's going through and knowing the educational system ain't perfect.
Right.
It's a 100-year-old problem. It ain't nothing that's gonna get fixed right away. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and what's crazy is like LeBron school, like, they still got the same issues we have.
Still got the same stuff.
Everything that's going through. So knowing that, I just want to be able to, man, just set that example. And just help young students, and even like now, man, parents. Sometimes a parent need to see a strong individual that's able, because you don't see moms or fathers that I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do with her.
Yes.
And me not necessarily being a parent, not having my own. But man, at the same time, like, especially, what's crazy, especially this year recently, I don't have so many students I just seen in the streets. I just had like 3 students recently, man, just joined our church. And I hadn't seen them in probably like, they graduated maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you know what I'm saying? Or seeing a young student, man, that we had to deal with, man, I'm talking about a troubled kid. I'm talking about one of those kids that if you came out here the wrong way, it's coming to blows. You know what I mean? I saw him, and the last time I saw him, you know, first thought in your head is like, man, he in 8th grade. I think he was supposed to be in 9th, but he's not gonna make it more than 2 or 3 years. And then to see him just recently, we do this thing at our church called Barbershop Talk, and it's like ages from young to older, you know. So you talking about 13 to 67. And it's even though it's at the church, it's just men speaking on problems and trying to, you know what I mean,
walk through those, talk through those.
And I saw him recently, and it was like, he came up to me, he's like, man, I just want to apologize for my action. And I want you to know that I'm trying to change. And I said, man, just seeing you here and you walking up to me, that I know that you're trying, but I also understand what you're going through. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, sometimes just those things, like, I don't need no accolades, man. I don't need
no title, nothing.
And just to go back to the experiences of my life, man, I wasn't player of the year, you know, at that time. At high school, I'm that guy.
Right.
I'm averaging 20. I'm shooting, but I was almost shooting 50 from the tray ball. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
But I didn't get, at that time, I want to get an accolade. But then you go back and maturity, why I tell you, who else went Division I, bro? And then you help the ones after you to be able to be on point to go to college. So now when the kids come up to me, I'm getting that same appreciation and like, oh, it's not about all the other stuff.
And you know, it's crazy, Ronnie, like, listening to all that, like, the fact that you even mentioned shooting for 100%, but knowing you might not get it. That's the reality.
Oh, man.
But you putting it through. And then you plant these seeds with this troubled young man, and then to see him later on, to hear him, you know, not only apologize for his behavior, but to say that he's trying. That's that seed that was planted that sometimes we won't get to see come to fruition. But you got to see a little bit of what you poured into it, which I think is wonderful. And I think a lot of people need to take that into consideration when they become teachers and educators, because it's not for the weak. It's not for the weak. And I always say that, and I know that's cliche, but you know, if anybody can learn from today's, they should be able to see like how important it is to have different people in there to be resourceful. And even if you don't have resources, even if you do have those resources, it doesn't mean everything will go smooth. But for you to get in front of these kids and be solid, come there every day, like you said, you got to show up for these kids. 100%. And your motivation isn't for an accolade, for a shout out, for some kind of I mean, money is good, but any kind of, you know what I mean, something from notoriety, you just doing it strictly off the strength of humbleness in your heart, and that's what you feel as if, you know, like, especially spiritually, like, I'm supposed to be a servant. I want to be a servant leader, and I see that, and I'm just happy to talk to you about that, man, because, like you said, our educational system is crazy, but you continue to put forth that work. I know that New Year is coming up sooner rather than later. You already know I'm here. You know what I mean? From whatever. And, you know, I'm still going to be checking you out, and then we stay in touch and things like that. But I appreciate you pulling up, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. It means a lot, man. I'm very happy that you're in this space doing what you're doing, man. I'm glad you're still in the educational space.
Absolutely.
Definitely needed. Man, I'm just happy for you, bro.
Absolutely. So, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Until next time, what's your motive?